Namaste, I am Shivaswati and this video is to explain how do you harness your soul power of creation without being negative, without complaining, without taking revenge and without expecting a reality which is very unrealistic and being disappointed that it is not happening. For example, waiting for Kalki Avatar to come and solve your problems is unrealistic, because a god can only solve your problems, or a king or a queen can only solve your problems if you take an initiative to solve your problems and circumstances allow it. If mass consciousness is very negative, even a god form who can be very powerfully positive can be converted into negative by our schooling system, by the pressures, by denying telepathy, by denying intuition. So imagine Kalki Avatar being born in today's time and sent to a school 6 to 2 o'clock and told never to have intuition, never to have any telepathy, and never to have use any power of creation other than writing school answers, school books. So the child will anyway get bogged down and he will not be able to solve problems as a god, because god uses different kinds of approaches to solve problems, not the rational method. So god will use intuition, god will use meditation, god will use telepathy, god will use a power of creation by creating a reality through pictures, and God will create a reality which does not appear conventionally right. Because if you are going by conventionally right reality, it is already negative, so you are creating more of the negative. Now if you want change in politics, you have to change the schooling system and teach compassion, teach camaraderie from the schooling level, so that children learn not to compete and be good to each other. If you are teaching competition from schools and you're rewarding the best all the time, then everyone will want to be best and fight the other one to be the best. So, and they will insult poor people because they have been insulted themselves by their parents when they are young. So domestic violence leads to adult violence. And if you are promoting a society where marriages have to stay together, even if there is domestic violence, even if there is abuse, you will create children who are abusive, who are harming others, because that is what they see their parents do. So you have to create a society which is more free. Even if marriages break, it is all right. Even if schooling system currently as it is, if it collapses, it is all right. You have a schooling system which is more open-minded, which is teaching children helping others, which is teaching practical skills, and you cope up with it. You can have a 10th exam, you can have a 12th exam, but the syllabus has to be such that it is relevant to everyday life. You can't be teaching trigonometry to every child who does not want to be an architect. And even if you are teaching basic maths, it is not there in it has to be applied in a way that children want to learn basic maths, and they don't opt for the standard maths, because the examination system has to be fair. It should not be looked down upon. You should be teaching your children that just learn basic maths, and if you want to do architecture, you learn trigonometry. Otherwise, why waste your time? Time needs to be spent on meditation, time needs to be spent on exercise, on some hobbies which they have, which are creative activities, and helping others also. They can join NGOs, they can join social work programs. Why do you force them to go to parties and drink? It can be a lot more fun for them to join NGOs and help little children, help others. So all these things we have to teach our children, and then the adult world will change. You can't expect the adult world to change suddenly when they have never done anything sensible in their younger lives. I mean, we were not brought up to help others, like go to NGOs. Maybe 10%, 20% of our, and most of us are told not to go to NGOs. Earn your own money, earn your own bread. How long can we support you? So the social work instinct is killed. So in a situation like that, even Robin Hood or Kalki Avatar cannot support you. If they are supporting you, they will be rebelling from society, rebelling from police, and doing illegal work to support you. That is the only way to support the masses given today's conditions. So you have to harness your soul's power of creation, start creating peacefulness in your homes, in your individual life. For that, the first thing is that you stop depending on alcohol or drugs for peacefulness, because they take you to a high and then they drop you again, and then you are depressed, and then you again take alcohol and drugs, and in the meantime peacefulness gets lost. So you have to waste time sleeping, you have to waste time sitting, you have to waste time brooding, and so that your mind is thoughtless, completely thoughtless. You come to a stage where you are thoughtless. When you are thoughtless, after that you move into a positive state of mind and you start creating visualizations. You start feeling the pictures happening. You start seeing your problems getting solved through pictures, and give it a manifestation time like Tesla has given 369, and give it electricity, give it power. So use the resources which have been created, like Thomas Edison created electricity, and give it power, give that visualization power, and make it lighter, brighter. Feel it in your senses. So the feeling which you feel will be your breath. If your breath is positive, you attract positive energy from the universe. If your breath is negative, you will attract negative energy from the universe. So feel your breath becoming positive, and then you spend some time spreading that positivity, spreading that positive breath, feeling good in your visualizations. When that breath reaches the air, it converts into mass consciousness, and then it actually clears air. So pollution actually gets cleared, like pollution of mental thoughts, mental clutter actually gets cleared. So it's a difficult process, and it is not an overnight process. And you have, for improving the political scenario, you need to meditate a lot, and you need to be thoughtless a lot, and you need to visualize what you want to create, and visualizations have to be realistic. And if you want to help the farmers and the poor people, you have to teach through social media how to think in pictures, how to make their life comfortable, and then they start accepting loans, and they start working better, and they start visualizing, and they actually start creating a better reality. I've seen it happen when I'm working with mates and all. I've seen it happen that their reality improves a lot. Simply by controlling their mind and controlling their thoughts, they can create a much better reality, given their desires, given their goals and manifestations. Like they have families, they have a lot of functions, they have a lot of rituals, so they want to do all that. They want to be conventionally proper, and they create that reality. So if you tell them that everything is lost and you are defeated, then they will create that reality. They are not thinking, they are obeying your thoughts. So you have to tell them you are powerful, and you can create your reality, and make them meditate and make them think what they want to create, and then you will see the reality changes. So social media needs to invest on teaching people how to create reality by teaching them visualizations, teaching them gratitude, teach people to count 10 good things in their lives. This is not so difficult, because I have seen poor people pick it up like this. You just have to tell them don't keep fasts. Just think of God the whole day and think of what you desire and keep thanking God. And it happens. They don't keep fast, they feel stronger, and they create a reality they desire. So, don't force them to follow ritualistic worship. Don't force them to follow things which are like just a ritual, and their minds are like totally feeling negative all the time. You have to teach people to feel positive. And that is the only way to change the political system. That is the only way to change even the education system. Because when people feel positive, the present education system, which is making children so stressed and so anxious, it will collapse. Because frequency matching will not allow an education system which is increasing stress to continue. So you have to teach children and adults to fit in. You can't teach them to be their best, because one is that if they are the best, someone else is defeated. Second is that being a best in a situation where to be the best you have to be negative, you will increase a lot of stress in your life. So you have to teach them to be positive whether they are best or not. And when you teach them to be positive, teach them that to let go of some choices where they are not fitting in, and take up choices where they feel less stressed. Even if it's an open schooling system, it is all right. Nobody will ask you 10 years later which school you went into. Nobody asks those questions. So you can. My father studied in an open schooling system, and he was a very renowned professor in economics. So nobody knows these things. So you have to focus on things which matter, things which count, not things which are ritualistically correct. And only then you can change a political system or an education system, or even the individual family life. If you are taking a lot of drugs, you will go for prostitution, you will become sexually addicted, or because your body throws up, your body demands attention. So you have to first work on a situation where you're not taking drugs, where you're sleeping. Even if you're sleeping 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, 14 hours a day. It is all right as long as you don't take drugs. And then you work 6 hours or 8 hours a day with commitment. So your work is highly focused. It is very high quality work. And all the time that you are sleeping, you won't be sleeping. So a lot of that time will be going in meditation. You will be meditating silently lying down like Shavasana, or you will be meditating sitting up. It's just that you will not be focusing on material things like watching TV, watching serials, watching films, because if you keep focusing on the material realities, even if it is dramatic, but it is negative, then it causes a lot of thrill in you, but it will not create the reality you desire. So a lot of boredom and visualization is involved in creating a peaceful world and a reality you desire. If you are always jumping and always restless and always looking for thrills, then world will not function the way you want, because you are not giving any time for visualization and meditation. So it's life is complex. Life is not simple. Meditation is complex. You have to control your mind as if you are controlling a flood of thoughts, and it is not meant to be simple also. It is meant to be mentally complex. It is not meant to be technological complex. We have made it technologically complex and mentally simple. That is where emotions are going haywire and happiness is falling down. For happiness to rise, it has to be mentally complex, emotionally complex, and technologically simple. So that you get a lot of comfort by sleeping on a normal bed. You don't need a water bed. You don't need a very high quality Dunlop. You will find comfort sleeping even in a forest probably, or on a normal bed, if you are mentally silent, mentally peaceful, as saints do. So mental peacefulness is very, very important. Technologically, we have grown a lot. If we grow any further, there can be a world war and there can be problems. So unity of nations is very important right now, that people collapse their walls and the world becomes one nation. So that technology, the way it is growing, it can be supported and it doesn't end everyone. This time is very critical. It is very high technology, and this technology needs to be such that it is protective and not destructive. And for that, people who are ruling have to think of each other with compassion and come together as one world and not compete with each other. We cannot say India is the best, because again the same problem, that means another country is not good enough. So that is a problem, and you need to know that everyone has different qualities, different ways of working, and each has a different way of contributing. So international trade in economics is a very good example, that people who have something give it to another country who don't have that thing, and they take from another country what they don't have. So it's like barter, but it is like everyone has something good to give. And when you focus on that, then you create a happy world. You can't focus on you having everything good and giving to all, then you will be depleted. You need to focus that everyone has something good and they have to harness that, and they will create a beautiful world. And it will be created. It takes time. Like if you start now visualizing in pictures what you want your life to look like, it will take 2 to 4 years. But you start now. If you don't start, then it never happens, because what is happening in the present is what you thought in the past. What you thought in the past was nothing. You just aped what others thought. So if you want a happy life now, you start visualizing exactly the kind of happiness that you desire specifically, and it will manifest in 2 to 4 years. Thank you.